Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me here today. In today's video, we're going to be going over the hotfix for Halo the Master Chief Collection, and we're also going to be taking a look at some information from the latest Inside Infinite for July of 2021, so stick around. Now currently, we are in the middle of Season 7 for Halo the Master Chief Collection, and over the course of these seasons, we've been seeing lots of updates, lots of hot fixes, lots of stuff being added in that honestly I never thought I would possibly see. Currently though, we are looking at the hotfix update that just rolled out over the last week as of the recording of this video. Now this hotfix of course resolved some exploits that had been taken advantage by some bad players. They added an in-game report button for the MCC. They issued a fix that was increasing search times and preventing players from connecting to server regions that were previously able to connect to. Now, of course, the big feature added in by the hotfix update is mostly for the players that play on PC, whether it's on Steam or the Windows Store. Now, that is, of course, the Report a Player button. Now, when I had played on PC, this would have been something that I would have loved to have had at the time, because I did, of course, run into many players that were either AFK or they quit. And mainly, I do play on the Xbox Series S now, and the Xbox already does have a Report a Player feature that is just built into Xbox Live, which is another reason I think why it took so long for a Report a Player button to be added into the game. Because when the game was originally designed, of course, it was only conceived of to be on Xbox, and since Xbox already has that feature, why add something in that would make the Xbox feature redundant? But now that this has been added in, I did run a poll on my channel. For those of you that haven't seen it, definitely turn on all notifications with the bell so that you can be alerted to when I put up a poll, and you can be, of course, in these polls as well. Many people on the poll here, the majority, do feel that this will help. Personally, I don't. And the reason for that being is that I feel that this feature is being added into the MCC a little too late, and we don't actually know how much of the reporting goes looked at, goes investigated. I would imagine people are habitual offenders of quitting and team griefing and going AFK may lose access. But you know what? Halo MCC and Halo 5 already bans players for quitting to begin with, and that's a whole other topic that I've been on and talked about in previous videos. I won't go too far into it here, other than I think that people should not be punished for leaving social matches. For competitive ranked playlists, I do agree a quit penalty should be instated in those playlists, but not for social playlists. But this feature is being added in, I feel, way too late. By the time that we would actually be able to see any type of positive impact from a Report a Player feature in the MCC, we're going to be probably playing Halo Infinite, and that is, of course, going to steal a huge amount of the player base from the MCC. There will always be a dedicated small amount of people that will play the MCC and will not like anything new that comes out, and will just specifically stick to that game. But unfortunately, that player pool is eventually going to shrink and shrink and shrink as more people move on to different games, newer stuff comes out, or people just move on to a new Halo title. So over the last week, there has been a lot of misinformation when it comes to the Halo Infinite technical preview that 343 is going to be having at an unannounced date still. Many prominent YouTubers, streamers, and industry insiders went on Twitter and said that they had received an email saying that they were going to be invited to the Halo Infinite technical preview. And the community manager had to take to Twitter to correct this information, saying that people were receiving emails reminding them to make sure that their Halo Insider profiles were updated and had the correct information in it. He had also gone on to say eventually that 100,000 people had signed up for the technical preview through the Halo Insider program, but did not complete their profile appropriately, which means that they will miss out on this unless they have this fixed. On this topic of the Halo Infinite technical preview, we did receive some information recently through the Inside Infinite article up on HaloWaypoint.com. And of course, this was dropped early, and I kind of think that because of all the misinformation that was going around, that is why it was done. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at some key things. It is a huge article. I definitely recommend, if you are interested, to go ahead and take a look at it yourself. It's at HaloWaypoint.com, and it is, of course, the newest thing under the news section. Now, this was something that I had been saying about 2 years ago, that if 343 really wanted any type of meaningful input that they could put in that would help design the game from the community, they should have had a technical beta, or at least some sort of beta, over a year ago now at this point. As of the recording of this video, it has been an entire year since the original July reveal of the Halo Infinite campaign, the reveal that, of course, got the game delayed for over a year. And looking at what they're trying to get out of this new technical preview that's going to be coming out has me just slightly concerned, just because of the way that it's worded. Now, this, of course, is something that any game developer running a beta wants feedback on. But again, personally, I've said that they should have been testing this over multiple betas for over a year if they really want any meaningful input that can facilitate change of something that may not be either appropriately designed or designed the way the community wants. Let's go ahead and take a look here at feedback-focused areas. Core gameplay. They want to know how they feel about the core combat experience. How do you feel about player movement, weapon balance, equipment, etc.? How fun is it to engage in battle in Halo Infinite? Maps and modes. How do you feel about the design and the flow of maps? Are the maps and modes both fun and fair? Academy weapons drills. Did the weapon drills give you a good understanding of the weapon functions? How fun were the various weapon drills? Menu and battle UI. How intuitive was the menu navigation? Were you able to understand your progression through the battle pass? Were you able to find and equip customization items easily? Now, I had this said to me in a comment on Twitter, but that Halo 5's UI was really bad. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. The UI wasn't really that bad. It was pretty understandable. It was very basic at that, but it wasn't bad. Now, the fact that they still don't know if their core gameplay is fun, or if the maps and the modes are fun, or if the weapon drills teach you about how the weapons function, or the menu and the battle pass UI, again, what if they release this technical preview and the overwhelming majority of the community says all of this is bad? Player movement speed is too slow, the weapon balance is completely off, it takes 7 to 8 headshots with a pistol or a battle rifle to kill somebody. Are they really going to be able to go in and tune everything with just what we would consider a few months left before the game needs to launch? What if the community is not happy? Are they still going to launch the game anyway? Would they ever delay it again into early 2022? I don't know. And again, they should have been having these areas of feedback over a year ago. Let's go back to the Halo 5 beta. That came out in December of 2014, and then the game launched in October of 2015, the end of October 2015. At that point in Halo 5's development, they had the engine, they had the weapons, they had the maps. They had enough time to go in and change things to the player feedback before the game actually launched. I don't think they have that time now, to be honest. And it is very concerning to me that they're looking for feedback on these areas so close to launch. Of course, moving on, games and service performance focus areas. Stability, how stable is the game across various hardware specs and platforms? Is the game freezing or crashing at certain times on specific hardware? Getting a large-scale sampling of real-world hardware profiles is something that they can only really accomplish through a large-scale flight of this nature, and as they launch on PC for the first time. This is a critical focus for the team. Stability is going to be a huge issue, I feel, for them. Personally, just without the multitude of different types of PCs that people are going to be trying to play this on, but also the Xbox platform as well. Now we know that the Series S and the Series X are going to run this game best for home consoles, but they also have the original Xbox One, they have the Xbox One S, they have the Xbox One X that they're going to have to make sure that this game runs well on, and if it doesn't run well on all of the Xbox platforms, they are going to hear about it, and a large amount of the players are probably going to be on the Xbox One, as the current generation with the Series S and X are still very difficult to find. Personally, I would think that they should do this technical preview not just as a flight that you have to be registered for, but just throw it up on Xbox as a technical alpha. Let people know that it is a in-game build that is not the final version, and get as many people on the Xbox One platform and the Series platforms to test this out as well. But moving on to their next focus area, the online services. Can all the connected online services function well at an immense scale? This is the largest bucket since it includes so many intertwined services that need to function perfectly in harmony: matchmaking, server scaling, player server settings, the proper challenge stats, post-game carnage report, battle pass progression and store functionality, armor customization, partying up with friends, etc. And of course, the Halo Insider / Waypoint vNext. Can the Halo Insider communication systems and flighting tools function at scale? Now moving on to what the upcoming technical preview is actually going to include. It seems like this first test is only going to be including the multiplayer bots themselves. They're not going to have a regular PvP or big team battle arena going. The upcoming technical test is going to only include you versus the multiplayer bots. With this higher level feedback goals noted above, they landed on the specific focal points. With this in mind, the focus areas for the technical preview are arena gameplay versus bots, arena maps, academy weapons drills, menu and battle pass UI, and new waypoint experiences with web at iOS and Android. To gather specific areas of feedback, the first flight will contain the following content and experiences. Bot Arena. Halo Infinite is the franchise's first forte into the world of multiplayer bots. To provide a totally new multiplayer experience for the players and to gather feedback on the bot behavior and online performance, they'll be debuting the Bot Arena playlist, which puts 4 players against 4 bots on arena maps. For this technical preview, the Bot Arena experience will feature Slayer across 3 maps in the build: Bot Slayer on Bazaar, Recharge, and Live Fire. To keep players on their toes and keeping experience engaging, we're planning on daily content offering that will evolve over the course of the flight based on the overall engagements of the participants. They're going to intentionally start things off slow to help everyone get acclimated, but the community gets up to speed and slays copious amounts of bots. The goal is to crank things up and provide a greater challenge and variety. Bot Arena is a great place to familiarize yourself with Halo Infinite's gameplay in these maps and stress-free environment. The bots still have their quirks, which is why they're flighting them, and certainly aren't pushovers, so be prepared. Now, this is something that I have championed for a very long time and have wanted multiplayer bots in Halo since Halo 2. Now, this is just a personal input of mine. I've loved multiplayer bots going all the way back to Perfect Dark on the Nintendo 64, but multiplayer bots ensure the longevity and essentially future-proof your title as long as this mode is not contingent on being connected online. Not every playlist is going to be populated, and you're not always at some point going to be able to get a match. Bots won't go AFK. Bots will not, of course, player grief unless they're on the opposite team, and bots will also not quit out of a match. Weapon drills are, of course, part of the Spartan Academy, and they are to teach you essentially how to use each weapon in the game. Now, in the upcoming technical preview, they're going to be including the following subset of weapon drills: the MA-40 assault rifle, the BR-75, the MK-50 sidekick, the QS-48 bulldog, the Needler, the VK-78 commando, the S7 Sniper, the Plasma Pistol, Pulse Carbine, Ravager, Heatwave, and the Skewer. And of course, this is going to be their way of onboarding new players with this being a free-to-play title and being accessible to everybody that has Xbox Live or even is just connected to the internet with their Xbox. They're going to be wanting people to learn and not just jump in and get demolished by people that have been playing Halo essentially for 20 years now. Now, on top of the gameplay-focused experience, they also want to make sure that the game's menu navigation feels intuitive, especially interested in seeing how players move through the UI to unlock their battle passes, check their challenges, use the store, and apply their earned customization elements in the Armor Hall. In order to allow Halo Insiders to unlock their battle passes and unlock various customization options, they're going to be granting invited accounts a set amount of in-game credits. Players will be able to use their credits however they see fit, but customization items unlocked during a technical preview will not carry over when the game releases later this year. Similar, they're only flighting a small subset of the arena maps and modes. The technical preview will feature a truncated battle pass and a small fraction of the customization options planned for launch, with a key focus to ensure that the battle pass and challenges, unlocking systems, and customization equipping systems are both functioning properly and hold up at scale. The reason they're having these battle passes, challenges, and customizations in the flight is purely technical and isn't meant to be a showcase for the launch content, so please don't read into that too much. So essentially, what I'm looking at here is that there may be stuff that you can unlock that won't show up in the final game, and of course they're going to be omitting things from this that will be in the final game that they want to be a surprise. Now, I will again reiterate that this is only just a small fraction of what is actually in the Inside Infinite. This is what I feel is the most pertinent news. So if you do want to go ahead and take a look at the whole thing, I highly recommend it. They have interviews with developers, and while they don't really give much more important information outside of what's going to be in the flight, it is an interesting read, so I definitely recommend you go ahead and check it out on your own. Myself personally, again, I said this before, I'm a little worried that they're looking for feedback on these areas so close to what we're considering launching in November. Now, again, there is no official date for the release of Halo Infinite. Many of us do think November 15th would be the 20th anniversary for Halo, and November 16th technically is a Tuesday, so it could be launching on that date as well. But this close to launch, they should have been doing this type of testing and looking back for feedback from their consumer base on these things over a year ago for this stuff, in my honest opinion. Because if the feedback comes back bad, do they really have enough time to change anything? But as always, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. If you're new around here, consider subscribing. I upload videos weekly. Check out the links in my About section. I've got social media, and of course, support for the channel is there as well. But until next time, everyone, thank you all for joining me here today, and I'll see all of you in the next video.